It's just,
Okay.
yeah, what I want to move to is my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which
Ooh.
seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. Then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously. And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists. Now, spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they can possibly do, having spewed lovey-dovey stuff to each other for months on end. I mean, again, Critical Drinker, this is in your world. You know, I thought it was a great film. I got to say, I've not been to the cinema and actually sat through a movie and been as quiet and as attentive as I was to that in a long time. I thought it was very, very well done. A, do you agree? And B, what do you make of these two now just trying to destroy each other in public?
Morgan just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood. His latest exposé on Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds unveils shocking text messages, insider stories, and explosive evidence that could shatter their perfect couple image forever. Think you know Blake and Ryan? Think again. For years, the power couple has meticulously crafted a public persona that has the world swooning. But today, we're peeling back the curtain to expose what happens when the cameras stop rolling. From their questionable treatment of Justin Baldoni to using their own children for PR, nothing is off limits in this eye-opening reveal. Ever wondered if Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are really the perfect couple they appear to be? The matching Instagram jokes, their adorable red carpet moments, and those witty, well-timed zingers about each other that have us all wishing we could be part of their inner circle. Well, get ready, because I'm about to lift the veil on Hollywood's golden duo. For years, Blake and Ryan have built an image as America's most relatable power couple. They're just like us, only better looking, funnier, and with way better wardrobes. Every public moment seems effortlessly charming, and their playful online trolling of each other has become their trademark. This has earned them millions of devoted fans, all of whom believe they've cracked the code to the perfect celebrity marriage. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling? Sources close to the couple paint a very different picture, one that will shock even their most loyal followers. Behind those picture-perfect smiles lies an operation running with military precision. One former assistant revealed that working for the couple was like living in a PR machine, where there's no room for spontaneity. Would it shock you to find out that those hilarious social media exchanges, the ones that always seem to go viral, aren't actually spontaneous? According to 3 insiders who worked directly with the couple, many of their viral moments are meticulously planned, with some even being crafted by hired comedy writers. Nothing goes online without approval from both of them, said a former employee who spoke anonymously due to a strict NDA. Sometimes they'll workshop a post for days before it goes live. And those NDAs, they're the stuff of legend in Hollywood. Staff members who've worked in their home claim they've signed documents so restrictive they make presidential security clearances look like child's play. You literally can't even mention what brand of cereal they eat without risking a lawsuit, claimed one former household employee. The level of control these two wield over their image is beyond anything most celebrities require. Their carefully crafted, perfect marriage is maintained with an iron grip on every public appearance. A veteran publicist who's organized events for the couple said they provide venues with a list of approved topics for reporters to discuss. There's an actual binder, yes, a physical binder of pre-approved questions. Anything off-script is immediately shut down. Industry professionals who've worked closely with Blake and Ryan describe them as obsessed with their image, in ways that go far beyond typical celebrity behavior. A cinematographer who worked on a project with Ryan said he would review every single frame where his face appeared. I've never seen that level of image control from anyone else in 20 years of filmmaking. The gap between their public persona and reported private behavior has reportedly stunned even the most seasoned Hollywood veterans who thought they'd seen it all. There's calculated, and then there's whatever Blake and Ryan are doing, commented one producer who's worked with both stars. It's image management on a whole different level. But here's where things get truly explosive. Piers Morgan claims to have obtained text messages that could completely dismantle Blake Lively's carefully crafted career. These texts allegedly show Blake micromanaging not just her own image, but also dictating exactly how media outlets should portray both her and Ryan. In one particularly damning exchange, she reportedly gave specific adjectives publications should use to describe their relationship, threatening to cut access to any outlet that strayed from the approved language.
How did Blake and Ryan really meet, right? They met on Green Lantern, but during that phase of Green Lantern, which was, I guess, back in 2009, was when they were shooting this, or 2010, filming was March to August 2010, Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson, people forget about this, including Gwyneth Paltrow when she interviewed her. We'll get to that in a second. But people forget, yeah, these two were married, right? And so during that period of 2010, 2011, he was with Scarlett Johansson, and Blake was in a long-term relationship with Gossip Girl, Penn Badgley, right, Kim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now
those relationship-defining text messages, they're just the tip of the iceberg. The love story we've all admired for years, the one where Blake and Ryan's magical meet cute on the set of Green Lantern, blossomed into romance only after Ryan's divorce from Scarlett Johansson, might just be a meticulously crafted Hollywood fairy tale. The version we've all heard over and over is perfect. Two actors working together, becoming friends, and only exploring romance once Ryan was officially single. This narrative has fueled endless Instagram posts and solidified their image as Hollywood's most relatable power couple. But according to Piers Morgan's explosive investigation, that picture-perfect story may be nothing more than a carefully constructed lie. Multiple sources from the Green Lantern production have reportedly come forward, telling Morgan a story that paints a much different picture. A camera operator who worked closely with both Blake and Ryan described undeniable chemistry between them and moments of intimacy off-camera that went far beyond friendship. They'd often disappear together between takes, the source revealed, and return with the kind of glow you just can't fake. Another crew member was even more explicit, telling Morgan, everyone on set knew what was going on. There were times when Ryan would get a call from Scarlett, and minutes later, he'd be laughing with Blake in her trailer. This timeline they've pushed for years? Complete fiction. Perhaps the most damning of all are the alleged text messages that Morgan claims to have obtained. In one message from July 2010, while Ryan was still married to Scarlett Johansson, Blake reportedly told a friend, "I can't stop thinking about him. It's crazy. I've never felt this way before. We have to be so careful, though." This message was allegedly sent months before Ryan and Scarlett's official separation in December 2010. The couple's damage control over this narrative has reportedly been nothing short of extraordinary. A former publicist who worked briefly with the pair told Morgan that certain photos from the Green Lantern set were systematically removed from circulation through legal threats and financial offers. There was one set of images from the wrap party, the source claimed, that completely disappeared. The kind of images that could have torn their cover story to shreds. Industry insiders confirm that the Friends First narrative was a carefully crafted PR strategy. A veteran Hollywood manager with insider knowledge explained, they knew that a friendship turning into love after his divorce would play far better with the public than the reality, that they got together while he was still married. It's PR 101, and they executed it flawlessly. But the most shocking revelation comes from an assistant director who worked on Green Lantern. According to this source, Blake and Ryan were caught in a compromising position in his trailer a full 3 months before Ryan's marriage to Scarlett was officially over. It wasn't a friendly chat, the source revealed. When I walked in, there was no doubt about the nature of their relationship. They jumped apart like teenagers caught by their parents. Even the timeline of their first official date falls apart under scrutiny. While they've claimed their romance began with a double date in early 2011, a restaurant server from a high-end New York establishment provided Morgan with receipt evidence showing the couple dining together intimately. In October 2010, 2 months before Ryan and Scarlett's separation was even announced.
Limited redactions and names and photos, blah, 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 at all times. Miss Lively has understood the produced documents, the text messages that were in her original complaint and are in this one. She has understood the produced documents and communications to have been lawfully obtained. That's how she understood it. They were lawfully obtained, maintained, and produced by Jones' work. So she's pointing it over to the Jones work. If these weren't correct, it's Jonesworks' fault, is what she's trying to say. Miss Lively included all excerpts of communication as produced, which on information and belief were produced in the data extractor program's Cellbrite default font and format, including, for example, the absence of text emojis in that production format. Images such as emojis, when available in a preserved screenshot, for example, were attached as produced. So
Behind their no photos of our kids policy lies one of Hollywood's most calculated PR strategies. While Blake and Ryan portray themselves as fiercely protective parents, Morgan's investigation reveals something far more strategic at play. Their children, supposedly shielded from public attention, have become their most valuable tools for manipulating public opinion whenever a scandal threatens their meticulously crafted image. The pattern is undeniable. Remember when Blake's Betty Buzz beverage line faced backlash for its high prices? In 2022? Within 48 hours, she appeared on Live with Kelly and Ryan, telling an adorable story about her daughter James mistaking sparkling water for spicy water. That anecdote went viral, completely burying the pricing controversy and leaving social media flooded with positive reactions. They've perfected what we call strategic parental deflection, explains media analyst Sophia Winters, who was interviewed for Morgan's exposé. It's actually brilliant. They refuse to show their children's faces, claiming privacy concerns, yet they constantly share stories about those same children to shift public attention whenever needed. The investigation uncovered a particularly telling incident from 2020, when Ryan faced significant backlash for filming his Netflix movie Red Notice in Italy during pandemic restrictions. Suddenly, he shared a heartwarming tale about his daughter's mispronunciation of common words. The story dominated entertainment headlines for days, completely overshadowing the controversy. A former member of the couple's PR team, speaking anonymously, confirmed what many had long suspected. There's literally a document with pre-approved child anecdotes, categorized by type, cute misunderstandings, funny things they've said, heartwarming moments, all ready to deploy when needed. Nothing is spontaneous. Perhaps most revealing was the couple's response to Ryan's aviation gin controversy in 2021, when consumers complained about misleading pricing. Within hours, Blake posted about their daughter's handmade birthday card, effectively shifting the narrative overnight. It's manipulation disguised as parenting, states celebrity publicist Maria Donovan. They claim to be protecting their children's privacy while simultaneously using stories about them as attention-diverting weapons. Most audiences don't even recognize they're being manipulated. They just see sweet parenting moments. The investigation documented 7 specific instances where negative press about the couple was immediately followed by child-related content. PR analytics revealed that, in each case, Google searches for the negative topics dropped by an average of 74% within 24 hours of the child's story breaking. This pattern highlights a fundamental contradiction in their public stance. While they adamantly refuse to share photos showing their children's faces, a boundary many celebrities establish, they readily exploit stories about those same children for image management. What's particularly calculated, notes social media analyst Jeremy Park, is that they've positioned this no-faces policy as a moral high ground. It gives them the appearance of being protective parents, while still allowing them to weaponize their children's existence for PR purposes. A former nanny, who worked briefly for the family, shared that the couple meticulously documents cute moments with their kids. They'd literally say, "That's a good one to save for later whenever something adorable happened." It wasn't just about enjoying parenthood, it was about cataloging content. But here's what happens. Next.
Good. But here's what Justin provides, the full context of the conversation. They admitted all the setup before about all the rumors being spread, yada, yada, how hard it's been to sort of try to combat the false rumors, and then how lucky he is. Here are the 2 quotes. "Doesn't matter if it's not true." I know. I don't think they get that. They think the truth wins. "No, it doesn't," laughing face. And I'm like, we are dealing with a psychopath who literally called you a predator. Let's all be happy with difficult. Now, context doesn't support Blake Lively.
While Blake and Ryan were busy collecting parenting anecdotes for their PR arsenal, a much darker power struggle was brewing behind the scenes of Blake's most anticipated film project. The set of It Ends With Us became ground zero for what industry? Insiders are now calling one of Hollywood's most intense creative battles in recent memory. What started as a dream collaboration between Blake Lively and director Justin Baldoni quickly spiraled into a nightmare. Sources close to production reveal that Blake wasn't content with just being the star actress. According to 3 separate crew members who spoke to Morgan, Blake systematically attempted to seize creative control of nearly every aspect of the film, despite having no official director or producer credits. She'd walk onto set with pages of notes about scenes that had already been approved, confided a production assistant who witnessed the power struggle firsthand. Not just suggestions about her character, but actual demands about camera, angles, lighting, and even how other actors should deliver their lines. The breaking point allegedly came during the filming of a pivotal emotional scene when Justin insisted on following his original vision as director. Blake reportedly stormed off set and made a phone call. Minutes later, studio executives were bombarding Justin with messages questioning his creative decisions. "It was unlike anything I've ever seen," shared a veteran camera operator who has worked on over 30 major productions. She essentially created a separate chain of command that undermined the director's authority at every turn. Perhaps most telling were the leaked email exchanges obtained by Morgan's team. In one particularly damning message, Blake allegedly wrote to a producer, "I know what audiences want to see better than he does. Either these changes happen, or we're going to have serious problems moving forward." When Justin continued holding his ground, Blake reportedly launched what one makeup artist described as a systematic campaign to isolate him. This included refusing to attend production meetings if Justin would be present and creating separate communication channels with other department heads. She would schedule unofficial meetings with the cinematographer and editor without Justin's knowledge, revealed a production coordinator who asked to remain anonymous. Sometimes these meetings would happen in her trailer right after D. Justin had finished giving completely different instructions. The situation became so toxic that filming reportedly had to be paused twice to address the escalating tensions. During one of these breaks, Blake was allegedly overheard on a phone call saying, "He doesn't understand that I'm the reason this movie will succeed or fail, not him." By the time production wrapped, the relationship had deteriorated beyond repair. Blake began refusing joint promotional appearances, creating scheduling conflicts that made it impossible for them to be interviewed together. She would confirm for press days, then pull out last minute if Justin was scheduled for the same segment, claimed a publicity coordinator who worked on the film's marketing campaign. Industry analysts note that this type of behavior marks a significant deviation from the typical actor-director relationship. Even A-list stars generally respect the director's ultimate authority, explained film production expert David Mitchell. What happened here suggests Blake believed her star power entitled her to override the established creative hierarchy. The creative hierarchy wasn't just being challenged by Blake, it was being systematically dismantled by Hollywood's supposed golden couple. While Blake fought the visible battles on set, Morgan's investigation reveals even more covert power struggles.
Why they're suing you, why they've gotten so aggressive, what you're calling retaliation is them defending themselves against your out of context, picked and choose text messages that may have been unlawfully gotten. That's a huge point that she's sort of acknowledging without admitting. Well, if it's wrong, it's not my fault, but I'm going to continue to use them. But I removed a couple that maybe, yes, were maybe not used in full context. So I found that incredibly telling. Hidden in a little footnote, her protection that, well, I was told they were lawfully obtained. Yikes. Big yikes.
The investigation uncovered something far more disturbing. Ryan Reynolds was allegedly orchestrating a shadow campaign against Justin Baldoni that extended far beyond this single film. According to 3 separate studio executives who spoke to Morgan, Ryan made a series of strategic calls expressing serious concerns about Justin's direction. What makes this especially troubling is that Ryan had zero official connection to the project. Reynolds would call asking innocent questions about production timelines, then seamlessly pivot to questioning Baldoni's creative choices, one executive revealed. It felt like he was fishing for problems where none existed. The influence campaign didn't stop there. Justin's former writing partner told Morgan's team that their upcoming project at Paramount mysteriously lost funding after being fast-tracked just weeks earlier. "We were told the climate had changed regarding Justin. No explanation beyond that. Then I learned Ryan had been at Paramount the previous week for a completely unrelated meeting. What's most shocking are the text messages Morgan claims to have obtained. In one exchange from April 2023, Ryan allegedly texted, "Blake spoke to Marcus at the studio. He'll be watching the dailies more closely now. This Justin problem will sort itself out." Another message reportedly shows Ryan writing, "Don't worry about the reshoot schedule. I've put some friendly eyes on the situation." The interference appears to have extended to Justin's professional network as well. A veteran casting director, who wished to remain anonymous, told Morgan, "I received a strange call asking if I was considering Justin for an upcoming project." The caller never identified themselves as being connected to Ryan, but the message was clear. Working with Justin might create complications with certain A-listers. Several industry professionals reported similar experiences. "It was like invisible walls started appearing around Justin," explained a producer who had previously worked with Baldoni on 3 projects. People who had been enthusiastic about collaborating suddenly became too busy or had scheduling conflicts. In Hollywood, that's code for something else going on. Perhaps most calculated was how the couple allegedly weaponized their social connections. Blake and Ryan host these infamous dinner parties that are practically industry summits, revealed a talent manager. After the "it ends with us" tension began, Justin stopped receiving invitations to key industry gatherings. The IANA message spread quickly. "If you want to stay in the Reynolds inner circle, keep your distance from Baldoni." A screenwriter who attended one such gathering told Morgan, "Ryan made a joke about difficult directors that everyone knew was about Justin. It wasn't said outright, but the subtext was clear. The room got uncomfortable, but no one dared defend Justin. That's how influence works in this town." The coordinated effort appears to have effectively isolated Justin within his professional community. "It's one thing to have creative differences," noted entertainment lawyer Melissa Rosen. "It's another to systematically undermine someone's career across multiple studios and projects. If these allegations are true, it represents an abuse of industry influence that should concern everyone." Justin's professional opportunities mysteriously dried up, but Blake was orchestrating an even more calculated maneuver, completely rewriting her public narrative about working with him. The transformation was nothing short of astounding. One day, she was posting Instagram stories praising the visionary direction and brilliant creative mind behind the adaptation of their film. The next, those posts vanished without a trace. Morgan's investigation reveals a pivotal moment that triggered this dramatic narrative flip. During filming of a contentious scene in October, Justin insisted on maintaining his artistic vision despite Blake's objections. Within 24 hours, her entire public stance began shifting. Her warm, enthusiastic interviews about their creative partnership suddenly morphed into carefully crafted statements about navigating professional challenges and different artistic perspectives. What makes this so shocking is how meticulously planned it appears to have been. Former cast member Daniela Rodriguez told Morgan, "It gave me whiplash. One week, Blake was telling everyone what an honor it was to work with Justin, and literally days later, she was dropping these subtle hints about difficulties on set. We were all confused because nothing catastrophic had happened." The digital breadcrumbs tell the damning story. Morgan claims to have obtained text exchanges between Blake and Ryan that lay bare their strategy. In one exchange from November 9th, Blake allegedly wrote, "We need to distance me from him before publicity starts. I'm thinking we float the creative differences angle but keep it vague. Nothing that makes me look difficult." Ryan's reported response, "Smart. I'll have Jen talk to Vanity Fair about adjusting the cover story. We can build in some sympathetic context about you fighting for the right vision of the film, position you as the passionate defender of the book's legacy." PR analyst Thomas Warner, who reviewed the messaging patterns, told Morgan, "This was textbook reputation management by subtraction." They systematically removed positive references to Justin while introducing carefully worded concerns that painted Blake as the hero of the story without ever making specific accusations. Perhaps most disturbing was the documented timeline Morgan assembled. Each instance of Blake's public narrative shift perfectly aligned with strategic career opportunities for both her and Ryan. When Blake needed to establish herself as a serious producer, she emphasized her vital creative contributions to the film. When Ryan had competing projects, suddenly stories appeared suggesting Justin's direction had been rescued by Blake's input. Cast member Alexandra Chen summed it up bluntly. "The Blake I worked with in the beginning of filming was consistently praising Justin's vision. By the end, she acted like she'd carried the entire production on her back. It was the most calculated image reversal I've witnessed in 15 years of acting." So what happens now? Piers Morgan's bombshell revelations have shattered the pristine image Blake and Ryan spent years constructing. The fairy tale we've all bought into appears to be nothing more than smoke and mirrors. A Hollywood illusion maintained through intimidation, manipulation, and strategic power plays. This isn't just about their clash with Justin Baldoni anymore. It's about an entire career built on carefully calculated deception. Industry insiders are whispering that this could be the beginning of the end for Hollywood's golden couple. Their empire, built on relatability and charm, stands on quicksand. What's truly remarkable is how many people remained silent for so long. Fear can be quite the motivator.